Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your continued support and thank you for being part of our great show. You are the people who make it great, and I want to appreciate you for tuning in. Kenya operates in groups of people who owns this government, and many a times they are the people who will make decisions. Some of these people are in government directly as members of parliament or cabinet secretaries, but others are even faceless. You don't even see them, and they call themselves deep state. They are so powerful that they can decide the trajectory that the government operations take. During Kenyatta's rule or reign in power, I understand that people like the late former Attorney General Charles Njonjo was part and parcel of that deep state. In fact, I was reading somewhere that when Njonjo suggested to Kenyatta that they install the former president Daniel Torotich Arap Moi as a vice president, he thought and they described him as a passing cloud because as part of the deep state, they were looking very closely at Kenyatta's succession politics. He was growing old, and they knew they would inherit the Kiambu mafia. In Moi's reign, you've known the total man, Bewot himself. So powerful was he that he would decide what he wants to do with you, whether you are a government official or an ordinary man. In Kibaki's reign, we know people like Francis Mudaura, Chris Murungaru, a host of many other politicians. Now in Uhuru government, and of course Kimemia was, I think, was also part and parcel of Kibaki's reign. In Uhuru's reign, people who had got the face of deep state were people like Matiani, the former PS in the Ministry of Interior, I'm forgetting the name, and a host of many other politicians. At some point, I was told that Jimmy Wanjigi was also forming part of deep state. Now, in Ruto's government, Oscar Sudi is emerging as part and parcel of this deep state. Farouk Kibet is a man who has got no office, but he has been described as this lethal man that for you to see William Ruto, then you must pass through him. Now, Oscar Sudi has been a very close ally of William Samoei Ruto. When he speaks, then you would easily feel Ruto's tone, Ruto's thoughts and feelings. I remember when they had rebelled from the former president Uhuru Kenyatta and they had joined UDA, coming out from Jubilee where they felt they were being frustrated, Oscar Sudi used to issue warnings. Because he's a man who speaks his mind, he does not care. And after they took oath of office, I remember him issuing warning to county commissioner in Wasingishu because he felt the commissioner was being used to frustrate them. He issued a warning to the late General Francis Ogolla. He issued a warning to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And when Sudi speaks, you could feel that he was very serious. You could feel that he was passing a message. But yesterday, Sudi attended a talk show in Inoro FM, I think together with Inoro TV. And he spoke a lot, among other things, the state of the nation, what happened in the past, before, during, and after election, their relationship with Uhuru Kenyatta, the relationship between Uhuru and his former deputy, William Samoei Ruto. But there's something that Sudi said that caught people's attention, and for the better part of the day, Sudi had been trending. He was questioned about the manner in which he handled Uhuru Kenyatta, the manner in which he used to threaten and issue warning, because he used to say Uhuru is part, and in fact, even after they took out of office, he felt that Uhuru was sponsoring demonstrations and Uhuru was sponsoring the court cases because had been the thoughts of the entire Kenya Kwanza government. So Oscar Sudi said the following about Uhuru Kenyatta, that Uhuru is our retired president and our differences were political. He's still my friend. That's why after he retired, I still pray for him. So Sudi also prays, and not only prays for his friends, but he also prays for those who are perceived to be political nemesis. You read that and you realize that this is another Sudi, not the one that we know. He has toned down on the rhetoric and is now, it is like he's extending an olive branch. He's saying, we don't have personal differences. Our differences were political. We were not reading from the same political ideologies. And always, whenever a politician says something, we should not just wish it away like that. Oscar Sudi is not an ordinary man. This is a man who, when General Ogolla died, and William Ruto convened a very urgent meeting with security agents, he was part and parcel of it, and people were wondering, what did he go to do in State House? When the G2G oil scandal came up, his name featured together with people like Murkomen and Churchill, who is the energy minister. And we know that Sudi is a very close ally. There was a time when there was a land dispute somewhere. Was it in Rift Valley or where? And a lady who knew William Ruto went to report. And then when William Ruto asked, who knows this case? And she mentioned Sudi. And Sudi was called upon and he resolved it. He just decided this land belongs. And I remember he went there with some goods. So Sudi is a man who operates within the inner circle of the government. So for him to speak, I want us to scrutinize this speech because it means a lot. You know, before Sudi went to Inoro TV and Inoro FM, he received phone calls. He must have held some physical meeting or phone call meeting, and people were telling him, when you go there, expect such questions, and how are you going to answer them, because they know that the manner in which he has always spoken was going to form part of the discussion. So why do you think Oscar Sudi is now saying that he even prays for Uhuru Kenyatta? This is not the first time we've seen people trying to extend an olive branch to Uhuru Kenyatta. Rigathi Gachagua has said it several times. And even at some point he said he commands all the Mount Kenya leaders to respect Uhuru Kenyatta. Why do you think there is a change of tone? That is exactly what I want us to look at. And before we do that, allow me to request you to subscribe to our channel. If you're watching for the first time, click the notification bell. We always insist on clicking the notification bell because if you love our shows, when you click, then YouTube will notify you whenever we release our videos. You'll be the first person to be notified. Help us share our videos. This will go a long way in promoting our channel. Give this video likes. And I want to thank you so very much if you're part and parcel of the people who support this channel. So ladies and gentlemen, why do you think that Oscar Sudi, a man who has been known to be very, very tough talking, a man who issues warnings, is now toning down? Number one, Oscar Sudi is a man who is being haunted. He's got a guilty conscience. Because of bad mouthing, he warned the former general Ogolla, Francis Ogolla, and Ogolla died in a plane crash, that mysterious chopper crash that claimed, apart from Ogolla, other 8 gallant soldiers who died. And people have questioned the motive behind it. We were told that at the very last moment there was a swap that someone took the very chopper that Ogolla was supposed to travel in, and he was given another chopper that later crashed. And people attacked Oscar Sudi. And in fact, in social media, they were telling him, you are responsible for killing Ogolla. Why did you warn him? Because they had claimed that Ogolla was part of the group who went to interfere with the people's will, according to them, that they went there to overturn Ruto's victory. And so when you interfere with Ruto, you interfere with Oscar Sudi directly. They are the clique of people who believe that they are guarding their victory, because they are Kalenjins and because Ruto is a Kalenjin, that is their government. You know, there are people who, because Rigathi Gachagua is a Kikuyu and they're Kikuyu, they are now getting their government. So after he won Ogolla, and Ogolla passed on in a very mysterious way and timely death, people pointed accusing fingers to him. And I know, as a father, as a leader, it was really very painful when people are pointing fingers. People feel, in fact, in the court of public opinion, Oscar Sudi was judged guilty as charged, and so this is really haunting him. And I think he has decided to tone down the rhetorics because he has just realized that sometimes you can warn a person, and your mouth, the words that come from your tongue, haunts you back when whatever you wanted or whatever you had claimed happened to them. So I know he's not very happy that people believe that he killed General Ogolla. People believe he's part and parcel of the cahoot that planned the death of Ogolla. So this is one of the reasons why he's now toning down. Because if he keeps on warning people, what if, for example, he wants Uhuru, then something happens and Uhuru is dead, then people will say, okay, we know. And so Oscar Sudi does not want that. Number two, Oscar Sudi has decided to take a paradigm shift. He wants to rebrand. People have known him as a man who is very active, who is bad mouthing, who will warn you. And I think he has decided that I now want to put on a different attire, not the Sudi that you know. Anything happens, and Sudi will bring his camera and he will start telling you, and he loves really talking, and he will be posting on Facebook or Twitter. He does not mince his words, and I think he has decided that people have known me as a man who is tough, a man who is always talking and issuing warnings, and I want to tone down the rhetorics. I want to take a paradigm shift from the person people always know, and I want to be a little bit passive. And this is why he was saying we extend an olive branch to Uhuru Kenyatta. I still pray for him. There's no big issue between us. Whatever we used to disagree on political issues, but there's nothing personal. This has been the trend of all politicians. You'll see them threatening each other, issuing warnings in public, in funerals, in rallies. But when they meet, you see them taking tea together. They greet each other heartily, and I think we should learn from them. So Oscar Sudi wants to rebrand, and we want to see whether he will rebrand. You know, sometimes you might try, but if it is in the blood, it's not very easy. I also have a feeling that before Oscar Sudi attended this talk show, Ruto must have told him to go and extend that olive branch because Ruto is really yearning for that handshake between him and Uhuru Kenyatta. We believe that sometimes Meg Whitman has been sent there to talk to him. Uhuru has maintained that he is in Azimio to stay. He cannot forgive those who burned his Northland farm, those who took away his sheep, those who threatened his mother, took away the security that the mother has had for the last 60 years. They even went for his son, accusing him of being in possession of illegal guns. And I think this touched him. They even terminated a Brookside contract in Uganda, that process of powdered milk, and that they went ahead to try and sabotage him economically. They have accused him of all manner of things. That is the one who presided over this dilapidated economy that they claim they inherited. They've said is the man. They've really, there's nothing that's left. They even say is the one who was sponsoring the demonstrations. They've always said that is the one who was sponsoring the court cases to sabotage William Ruto. While Uhuru has always maintained that I had a candidate by the name of Raila Amolo Odinga. When the IEBC did not declare him the winner, I still went ahead and handed over power peacefully. And he does not really take it kind that they continue to malign his name. The other time he was saying that these days, if there's a problem between husband and wife, they will always call my name. He was joking. Now, the other thing the reason why Oscar Sudi had to tone down is because just knowing what to say where. You've seen when some leaders talk tough and when they land in Kisumu or Homa Bay, they now tone down because they know they're in a different territory and their words can cause a lot of chaos. There are people who love the Raila. You talk ill about Raila there, they won't care that you have security. They will even try and throwing stones or just trying to defend him in a manner that they know best, and this can result in devastating effects when the security now opens fire. So when they go there, they try to tone down. You cannot go, for example, to Nyeri and start talking ill about Rigathi Gachagua. You meet the wrath of the residents of Nyeri. You can't go to Surugoi and you start talking ill about William Samoei Ruto. You will be lynched. That's the same way Oscar Sudi just decided that I'm in Inoro, the Kikuyu nation is listening to me, and they know whatever I say carries weight. They know I'm a very close ally to William Samoei Ruto. So if I mess, it will be linked to William Samoei Ruto. And so he just knew that when I'm in Inoro FM, then I need to praise Uhuru Kenyatta. I need to tell them that we don't have any differences. It was only but political. And you've seen this with many politicians. You expect them that they are going to open fire in their speeches, and then all of a sudden they have toned down, and you're wondering what is really happening. And that is exactly what Oscar Sudi was doing. I don't know what to think about that speech. I don't know what to think about what has been reported that Oscar Sudi is saying that Uhuru Kenyatta is for the first time, is saying our retired president, and our differences were only but political. And he says he's still my friend, and that is why he retired, and I still pray for him. One funny thing about the Kenya Kwanza government, all of them are praying. They want rain, they pray. They do this, they pray. Everything, they report prayers. And when you look at Oscar Sudi, you'll realize that it is the Kenya Kwanza theme that we must talk about prayers for people to know that we are godly. I don't know what you think, ladies and gentlemen, but that is Oscar Sudi for you.